Imagine you're managing a massive sports bar on opening day. You send the main game feed to 16 different screens, and suddenly you get that dreaded HDCP handshake failure.
Oh man, yeah, half the screens just go black, right?
Exactly. Or they turn into this like flickering pixelated mess and, your customers are completely furious. So, welcome to today's custom deep dive, where our mission is dissecting a product spec sheet straight from HDTVSupply to solve that exact nightmare.
Right, because if you ever tried setting up multiple screens for an event or a business, you know the absolute headache of signal loss.
Yeah, it's a nightmare. So, okay, let's unpack this. We're looking at the Smart-AVI 16-port HDMI Splitter version 2.
And it's a piece of hardware that costs $699.
Right. And its sole purpose is to route a single HDMI 1.4 input to 16 different displays completely simultaneously.
Which is, I mean, doing that without degrading the digital payload is a massive technical hurdle because when you passively split a signal that many ways, well, your voltage drops, and then those digital handshakes between the screens and the source, they just completely fail.
Right. So to visualize the sheer bandwidth requirement, it's like having a single water main flawlessly feeding 16 fire hoses, right, with the exact same immense water pressure.
Exactly. And what's fascinating here is why that pressure doesn't drop. Because in the digital realm, you can't just pipe a signal without it degrading.
Right.
But this device delivers a massive 10.2 gigabits per second of data throughput because it's a strict hardware-only solution using active amplification.
Wait, so it's not just like dividing the signal?
No, not at all. The internal chipset actually reads the incoming digital ones and zeros, and it actively regenerates a pristine, full-strength copy for all 16 outputs at the exact same time.
Oh, wow. So there's like no software processing or some operating system getting in the way.
None. Relying entirely on this dedicated physical architecture means zero signal quality loss and no lag.
That's huge.
It is, and it gives you instant ED management, meaning the splitter seamlessly tells the video source exactly what format to output.
Got it.
And because it utilizes HDMI 1.4, it guarantees 4K resolution at 30 Hz, along with full 3D video capabilities.
Right. And I mean, for an AV professional, 30 hertz might sound a bit dated compared to modern 120 hertz gaming specs.
Sure, yeah, that makes sense.
But for commercial digital signage or like a massive video wall, it delivers rock-solid, identical frame rates across all 16 screens without ever dropping a single packet.
Exactly.
Okay, so the active regeneration makes total sense, but let me push back a little on the logistics here.
Sure, go for it.
So in an era where AV over IP is really becoming the industry standard, where we can just send video over a standard internet network, why rely on a centralized $699 physical box?
Right, well...
And practically speaking, how far can we actually push this signal before the water pressure, so to speak, finally drops?
That is the crucial trade-off. Because AV over IP gives you infinite distance, sure, but it introduces network latency and, compression artifacts.
This massive IT complexity, I imagine.
Oh, absolutely. This physical box gives you uncompressed, zero latency video, and the cable limits are genuinely impressive for a pure hardware run.
Oh, really? How far are we talking?
Well, you can run a heavy-gauge HDMI cable up to 50 feet from your input device just to reach the splitter.
Wow. 50 feet?
Yeah, and from there, the active amplification lets you push cables another 80 feet out to your displays.
Okay, so what does this all mean for you, the listener? It basically translates into massive savings in both space and money.
Oh, definitely.
Not to mention you're avoiding those terrible network bottlenecks.
Yeah.
I mean, think about the alternative here.
Right. Without a pure hardware splitter like this, you'd be forced to buy and network and individually manage 16 separate media players behind every single display.
Which sounds incredibly expensive and complicated.
It replaces a sprawling IT nightmare with just a single reliable appliance. And, the industry feedback totally reflects that relief.
Yeah, didn't it have a really high rating on HDTVSupply?
It does. It holds a 4.7 out of 5-star rating. There's actually a review from a customer named William L. who praised the site for stocking these hard-to-find AV products at fair prices.
Oh, that hard-to-find comment is pretty telling, right?
Definitely. As the industry pivots heavily toward complex software, these simple, bulletproof hardware solutions are becoming incredibly rare.
Which is exactly what you want when you're like 5 minutes away from a global presentation and you just need the screens to work.
Exactly. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, the absolute best technology is practically invisible.
Oh, 100%.
Right, this device just sits quietly in a server rack, regenerating massive 4K video payloads and lossless audio formats like Dolby True HD.
Yeah.
And it does all that without the user ever noticing the incredibly heavy lifting required to keep 16 separate screens perfectly synchronized.
It really just works. Which kind of leaves us with a provocative thought to chew on.
What's that?
Well, in a world where we can seamlessly clone one Ultra HD experience across 16 screens with absolute zero latency, are we moving toward a future where perfectly synchronized shared viewing spaces actually replace our increasingly fragmented individual screens?
Wow, that is a really great point.
Yeah, I mean, to think about it next time you walk past a massive, flawless video wall. Behind the scenes, that single source is still perfectly driving every screen as one.